Hello again. The Indian film industry, sometimes known as Bollywood, is hugely successful. One will look in vain, though, for representation of any ethnic group other than Indians, either starring in the films or being involved in their production. Nobody in Bollywood is all that bothered about who is gay either. It is much the same with the Chinese film industry, which is gradually becoming a world player. There are many minorities in China, but you won't see them in Chinese films. How very different is the case with British and American film producers, who appear to be more concerned these days with the sexual orientation or skin colour of those in films than they are whether or not those people can actually act. Minority status is all, and if your film does not feature black people, homosexuals, dwarfs, or people with wooden legs, then you can forget about funding, let alone being in the running for any awards for the finished product. This has been the informal situation for a few years now, and it accounts for the fact that black people are constantly shoehorned into historical dramas where they would not have been seen in real life. Witness the Egyptian government's fury at the casting of a black woman as Cleopatra recently. Now the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, the people who award the Oscars, have codified this practice, and it will be applied next year to any nominations for films receiving an Oscar. In other words, if you even want to get past the first stage and have your film nominated, you will have to comply to certain standards. To be nominated for an award, films will have to satisfy 2 out of 4 criteria. The first of these is that the production has at least one star from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group, or that at least 30% of the cast are from 2 different underrepresented groups, which include gay people, women, and those with disabilities. If neither of these conditions is met, then the main storyline must be centred around an underrepresented group. The second of the 2 criteria sets a similar standard for the company and film crew. The third is that the company making the film must provide paid internship for underrepresented groups, and the fourth is that the production company must have several senior executives from underrepresented groups. This is, of course, in all but name, a system of quotas. The production of good and noteworthy films is now secondary to political considerations. Of course, this is not the first time that we've seen this kind of thing. It was very popular in the Soviet Union. For the Soviets, art for its own sake was meaningless and bourgeois, and the whole purpose of a painting or a film was to advance the cause of Marxism. Simple entertainment was seen as being frivolous and decadent. The same feeling was prevalent in Nazi Germany. One remembers Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will, or the 1940 film Dubious, in which Goebbels had a hand. In both regimes, pure art was despised unless it furthered the correct political standpoint. We have, of course, seen echoes of this in the past with the Oscars committee, for instance, when the film of To Kill a Mockingbird won 8 Oscars at the height of the civil rights movement in the United States, but there has never before been a formal arrangement of this kind. What this means, of course, is that the Oscars will no longer be awarded purely on merit. In other words, it won't be a case of which is the best film or who is the best actor, but rather they will be judged on the extent to which those making them subscribe to a particular political ideology. The whole process is no longer about art for its own sake. No wonder Richard Dreyfuss says that it makes him vomit. One cannot help but recollect that scrap at the Oscars ceremony the other year when one black man took a swing at another on stage. This incident was at the time dismissed as being a freakishly rare aberration, but perhaps it was really a harbinger of things to come.